try and quickly go over when I stretch, how I stretch, and why I do it. So when I do it, I always do it after exercise. There's really no body of research that shows that stretching before exercise can prevent injury. However, it can decrease performance and it can potentially increase risk of injury. So there's no reason to do it then. If you want to work on mobility, do it after the exercise. And so the way I stretch is I do static stretching to increase range of motion, and then I do isometrics at that new end range of motion so that I can have ownership and control over that new range. And so the reason I do that is because it doesn't really make sense just to unlock a new range of motion just for the sake of having new range of motion. If you don't have strength or power or the ability to control it, there's really no reason you could expect that range of motion to, one, be beneficial to you, and two, to be able to prevent getting injured within that range. For instance, I'm going to show you the butterfly stretch to increase hip external rotation. And so let's say if I was in sport and my hip was in this new end range of external rotation, and I've unlocked new external rotation, but I haven't strengthened it. How can I expect to get out of that hip external rotation in time to not get injured? And so if I haven't strengthened that, then I'm just going to sit in this position and it's going to take my body a while to figure out how to get out of it. And so it doesn't really make sense to do that. So we're always going to go static stretch, isometrics, and so to get out of it, we're going to have to get the knee out of that. So we're going to do an isometric in the opposite direction of the way we stretched, and then we're going to do an isometric in the direction that we just stretched, because you want to be able to get to that range. So you don't want to only be able to passively get into it by being able to apply a resistance with your hands or whatever else, or another person stretching you. You want to be able to strengthen that range so that you can get into it of your own active muscular contraction. And so the butterfly stretch, what this looks like is we're going to pull the feet in, hands around the ankles, take your elbows, put them on the crooks of your knee right here, and you're going to drive your knees down to actually create a stretch. In elementary school, you may have just sat here and done a butterfly like this. Don't do that crap. You're going to actually stretch hip external rotation, and we're going to hold this for anywhere from 30 seconds up to 2 or 3 minutes, really just depending on how long you want to do it. After you've done that, like I said, we're going to do an isometric to try and get out of that. So we're here, and our elbows aren't moving, but we're going to try and close our knees together. So this is an isometric contraction, trying to bring my knees together, but my elbows aren't letting them come. And so like I said, we're going to static stretch, then we're going to do that isometric for 10 to 30 seconds. After you finish that one, trying to pull the legs in, then you're going to drive the knees away, back to the ground in the direction you were originally stretching. So this can work with any stretch you want to do. For instance, if you want to work hip internal rotation, you get in like a 90-90 position, or find some other way to internally rotate the hip, and you would static stretch it for 30 seconds up to however long. And then so if you were manually doing it like this, you would try and pull the foot back this way, but try and create some kind of resistance. You could use a bench or whatever else to prevent it from coming back. And then you would do an isometric trying to pull it back in that direction you stretched. In a 90-90 position, that would look like staying here. And then so you're trying to get an isometric into external rotation, so you're trying to bring the knee up, but you got a fist or a palm here to keep it in the ground, and then you're going to drive the knee into the ground. If you want to work on dorsiflexion, you get a rope or a towel, pull that foot into dorsiflexion, static stretch it, then opposite isometric, trying to push into plantar flexion, and then isometric back into dorsiflexion. You can do this with whatever stretch you want. The same principles always apply. You just got to be able to think static stretch, opposite iso, same direction iso, every time. All right, that's it. Let me know if you got any questions below.